You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Ooh, hey everybody, welcome. Another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
And my name is Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, you can. One of many ways, but for some reason we archaically hold back to that which we created and started doing a decade ago. Trent, tell them how they can do that while I awkwardly resize your window.
Will, not only are we using a standard, I would like to think, in social communication, but also communicating with the masses who are looking to get an Anki vector robot, not unlike Josh Black, Anthony Martin, and others using the hashtag NetHeads on Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. Those of you, there are many mysteries in this world. I'm just talking while I'm resizing your windows. No big deal. There are many mysteries in this world, Trent. Many of them, but none so mind-boggling as why I would be giving away an OG Anki vector robot, new in the box. This one is the only one of the three I had where the seal was broken, but the robot is still untouched. It is still...
it's still NIB.
Yeah, it's still, well, I mean, if you break the seal, can you call it mint in box? But, interestingly enough, this got a sticker on the bottom here that says Vector Robot by Anki with Amazon Alexa built in, collectible, good. So it's...
Okay, sure.
Either, I don't know if that is a quality rating or if it's just it's good. It's good.
I would like to think that they have the ghost of Phil Hartman's Frankenstein doing the packaging for them. Collector good.
Oh, man, I was wondering where you were going with that for a second. R.I.P. Phil Hartman. Welcome, everybody. It's so nice to not see you, but it's so nice to be seen and be heard again. Want to do a special shout out to some of our Patreon supporters like Anson Pope and Steve Ashton. Because of you guys, I was able to get this interesting and nifty little microphone stand. So we've got a different one, and it doesn't come across very well. But look, I can even for some reason it has a status light, so I could be like, "Oh, it's red. We're broadcasting. We're live," or
yeah,
I can make it kind of blue or. I have no idea why this is here, but I finally replaced the archaic articulated arm that I was using, and the reason why I did that is because if you've ever been a person that attends one of Kevin Smith's That Kevin Smith Club, AKAs, I MC those little get-togethers on Shindig. And when I do I like to, I get fidgety, I get nervous, I got to move around, right? And so when I do that, the microphone moves with me. And before, it sounded like a pair of humpback males mating when I would move this. Exactly. Yes, exactly. I'm glad.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
You nailed the sound perfectly, bud.
Dude, I know it because I too have used those. What I'm assuming are it's the springs, right? On either side. Yep. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so because of that, there you go. Now you look much better. Because of that, it drove me nuts. And I'm like, why is this still happening? And then I realized, well, may not have been the best microphone arms ever. And, the technology has probably changed, and it has. The only thing I don't like about this is that, by the way, if you heard that little blip, it means that technically We do have a Discord, and you know what? I forget how to send you guys to it, so who cares right now? But anyway, this is the only complaint I have about this arm is that the desk mount portion, if you're going to use like a C clamp to hold it on
Sure.
there instead of actually drilling holes in your desk, which I don't
Yes.
think I've done with this particular desk. I've obliterated others. When I replaced
Yep.
my old desk with the standing desk, one of the things I very honestly said is it has several holes drilled into it because I mounted the microphone. Anyway,
Yeah. So funny that you bring that up because I mean, not funny, but it's
awkward.
coincidentally, I've done the same thing, but you're never going to get something that is as strong as like when it's drilled in. So for the audio studio at work, I did the same thing, but I drilled it into I cut up about a 7-inch section of 2x6, drilled it into that, and then used the C clamp to put that board onto the table itself.
You, sir, are a goddamn genius. And I
Well-
don't know why I didn't think of that for here, considering I've done it out in the garage with stuff. As a matter of fact, one of the projects, we'll slip into some 3D printing in a minute. Because one of the projects that I have to do is that I bought an add-on for the resin 3D printer. So its printer tray is now going to be like 2.3 millimeters longer because I need to, with a very fine sandpaper, sand down the build plate so I get it down to just good scratched up metal. No, nothing is there.
Right.
And in order to do that, I have taken the 220 sandpaper they sent with the add-on magnet and additional metal build plate. So that way I could literally break a build plate off, set that print aside, slap a new build plate on, and get printing again. Because,
Right.
I'm a coin-making machine, Trent.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I know.
I'm a mea culpa coin-making machine.
Hey,
'Cause
you learn
making
as you go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, so anyway, I took that paper and I glued it just using some spray glue to a piece of wood, and then I used some C-clamps to mount that to a corner of my desk. So that way or not my desk, but my table out there. So that way I could just do that. So same exact principle. Maybe I should consider it here because I didn't want to drill in there before. And actually from the old microphone stand, I had two small pieces of wood or one small piece of wood on the underside, and I was using these suckers holding that microphone on my desk.
But I like how small those are.
These were actually in the toolbox that I inherited from my father-in-law, and I was just delighted when I found them because they are also just like good old school metal clamps made from metal forged when men were men. And he used to be an airport or an small airplane mechanic, so he had some good shit. Anyway. So I want to thank our Patreon supporters. Was that like 5 minutes just trying to say thank you guys for being able to help us get this additional arm, this new mic arm for the studio. So far we've got camera, we've got your vid cap, my vid cap, we've got the microphone stand, and we've got a curing station because our Patreon supporters for this year are getting a variant or another of this year's coin. Now, I have made, Trent, I don't think you've seen this. I think our Patreon supporters have seen this in their exclusive videos. But this here, look at this. You know what this is?
Ooh.
It's a box. And inside this box
I was just going to say, Will, what's in the box?
It's the coin. But it's one side of the coin. And you see it's raised out. This is a positive. This is also a positive. Same door slaps on and then comes off. And there is the front of the coin.
Yeah.
This actually, you pour the 3D, or not the 3D, but the mold maker stuff in here. It's Mold Max 60, so it's high temp resistant. And you pour it in here, and it creates two interlocking pieces that join together to then let us pour pewter in there and actually make metal coins. So I 3D printed this, that I'm going to use the Bull Max to make the molds, and then I'm actually going to make some metal coins. But in the meantime, before you get your metal coin, which I think I'm probably going to play with that over the Thanksgiving weekend, because I want to be able to actually make, God, I sound like such a douche. I want to make content of this process, Trent.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
for that, I've got to clean. But I also, for or with all my build plate exploration, I also started just making more coins to also send to people. I think I had a great idea, which was to put them inside a card and glue them there, and it would be cute. What I didn't take into consideration is if I wanted to pay the least amount of postage possible, that means I'm presenting something that the USPS says, okay, we can safely run this through a machine to scan it and let it get somewhere. And it's not going to require human intervention or a big padded envelope that can't go through the same type of process. And those machines beat the hell out of the coins. In transit is what happened. One made it to England out of 2, so we had a 50% success rate there. Success rate.
Hey, I'll take it. It's better than my current sex rate.
There you go. But I know that is the reason, because I have, like with this one right here, this is one of the recent ones. We did buy a new curing station, so I know I'm not over curing them now. But I put this through a 3-foot drop test twice, and then I literally flipped it up in the air across the garage, and as you can see, it's intact. So basically, the USPS sorting machines are very cruel and violent mistresses, my friend. That's my guess.
Yeah.
So I don't have them to show, but I do have the royal blue, TARDIS blue envelopes to send both replacement poker chips, as I'm calling them, and then the pewter coins to everybody. So that's something to look forward to before the end of the year. But also I didn't intend on showing the molds, Trent, but I look forward to making those. But I figured one of the things that we could regularly do now would be just like talk about, and I don't have a jingle or anything, but just like, well, what did Will print this week, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to show you the object. Let's just be clear. It wasn't resin printed. This was used the PLA, the filament on the 3D printer, I can't even remember the name brand of it because it's a weird name. It's a VoxLab something, Aquila Pro or something, and it's a knockoff of the Ender 3 essentially. It's an off-brand Ender 3, which is a semi-decent good starter machine. Okay, so I'm going to show you the print, and then you need to guess what it is, because everything I print is with purpose, genuinely speaking, especially with the filament. For example, my wife said, you've bought a wonderfully cute shower liner. I had one for Halloween and I have one for Christmas, but we can't see it because you're always hanging your towel over that. So,
sure,
quick and easy, print up a hook for the back of the door, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And tells me the cost, $1.60. All I had to do was wait 6 hours. It's here. That's faster than Amazon, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm really starting to dig the creator approach. Or the maker approach. Same thing when I realized, well, it would be handy to have my robe there too. Just print another one. Bam, it's already on the card. Okay, so keep in mind, this was printed for a purpose in the house, and you need to guess what it is. Now, first of all, you can make sure you can tell me if you don't recognize what it may be. Let me know if there's any other view you want of it.
No, yeah, we've definitely got a Darth head.
Correct. It is Darth Vader. Now, just to be clear, this is not what I was setting out to find. I was, again, see a need, fill a need. If the movie Robots taught me anything, see a need, fill a need. I'll give the chat a second as well to have a moment to take a guess. If you guys can guess what this is. I will give you the top view. Okay. Now you have the top view. Why is it built this way? Again, you go back to these molds, there is a purpose. It creates a negative interlocking coin-making machine, folks.
Yeah.
Okay? So this also made with purpose. So there is a reason why it is recessed. Okay? So there you go. Christopher Kammerer in the chat is guessing that it is a cup. No, it is not a cup. I would not. I'd be very concerned about making anything because I don't know if anything would be food grade. Yeah,
and especially if you're like putting like heated anything in there to drink.
Oh yeah, definitely, because again, it's Uh, the thing I love about these 3D printers, first of all, it's amazing and incredible that you can do something like this. You can make something like this. I don't want this too close to my face. But this is it's incredible. This didn't exist, and you can see the tiny layer lines. Each layer is the width of or depth of a piece of paper, basically. But still, it's amazing that you can make something even like this, even though, especially when you consider that it is a computer that's reading a file, and it's essentially using a graduated pulley system and a hot glue tip. It's
Yeah.
it's a hot glue gun essentially.
Yeah, it is. It's a robot arm hot glue gun.
Exactly, and it gets the job done, son. So we have another guess. Is it a furniture shoe? No.
Ooh,
Yeah.
but I do see where they're coming from on that one.
A what? A furniture shoe? Oh, so like if it were a table leg would go in there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so it keeps your claws or your feet from scratching the hardwood floor or whatever.
Oh my goodness, that is inventive. No, that is not it. Are you ready for the reveal? I should at least have a drum roll. I don't. But are you ready for the reveal? Or what's your guess?
Me.
Hit
yeah,
me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna guess it is a Sensi device holder to cover. It covers your Sensi.
Okay.
So it itself isn't heating up or anything, but you drop your Sensi into it, and so it looks like something else.
Interesting. Very interesting. Also, it could be like, oh well, this is just where I put my used wax.
Sure. Yep.
But no, that is not it. Okay, so again, this is with purpose, and I kind of gave you a clue when I said, "Oh, I don't want that close to my face." So a while back, my wife ordered some cleaning products. Go ahead, Trent.
Is it a cup, a soap cup for shaving soap?
No, but again.
Dang, that would be good.
Maybe I should just print you one so that way you can use it for that. Because as we can see, all the shaving you do.
Yeah, tons all the time. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? You're onto something there though, because I got to tell you, way back in my youth, my late teens, I got the gift of like a shave kit, and in it was a tin of soap. And then I'm pretty sure it may have been a boar hair tight brush, right?
Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And my obsession with the Duke Cannon Supply Company's soap is that without having to use a brush, I get something that is just as soapy and creamy as that was. That sounds for shaving my head. Let's just be clear.
No, but I know exactly what you mean, man. Like that lather that you build up with the brush.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those things that like you just don't understand unless you've used one.
Trent, you used to travel for work, and back when you did, you were, if I'm not mistaken, there was at one point where you were a clean-shaven young man.
Yes, there was.
So if you were traveling and doing that, did you ever partake? We'll come back to the Darth Vader head in a second. Why am I resting my arm in it? That's gross. In your travels, I'm sure you encountered the traditional barbershop with a hot towel shave. Did you ever take that in?
Yep. Oh, absolutely. In fact, the barbershop that I currently go to, they that's one of the features that they give, and whenever they cut my hair, they do the same treatment to the back of my neck.
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. Well, let's just go ahead and we'll tighten this up right here, and then you get the warm towel. Some of like the upper end ones now, they will straight out bust out this tube pummeling massage system and just kind of hold it. But it's not like like the wand. No, this is something you've got to you expect like Ripley to come out in that mechanical suit and hold this damn thing.
Strap it on, yeah.
That is that to me, I think, is the equivalent of a pedicure. I know men get pedicures and they enjoy them.
I know what you mean. Yeah. But that's like how a guy treats himself, right? Like goes and gets a nice straight razor shave.
You're onto something. And by the way, those of you that have been sticking around for this, because you're like, wait a minute, didn't you say there is a way I could get some bonus entries for this robot giveaway you're doing. Yes. I just want to say this now because I'm going to reveal what this is. And then after the show, you'll be able to go to, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to netheadsonair.com/getvector, or if you go to any of my social media, there is a link in my social media that takes you to my direct.me page, and there's a link for the vector giveaway. We're giving away that vector for absolutely no other good reason than it's much more economical for me to buy followers for the very small cost of that vector robot versus I'm sure what it really does cost. By the way, oh, I just knocked over the camera. Well, like the vector camera's down. Sorry, guys. I said there will be robots, and there are. You just got to look over my shoulder. Anyway, tomorrow you'll be able to early morning before we also close, sometime before we close the contest. It ends at 5, and then we do a live on TikTok at 6 to give away the vector robot. I'm going to give you a reveal now, Trent, what this is.
Hit me!
It's a toilet brush holder. That is a toilet brush holder right there. Okay, now I can't hear Trent. Now, why can't I hear you?
Because I hit. What?
Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm hitting buttons over here. Yeah, no, I should have seen that, dude. Here's what I like about it, because if you're like me, Will, the toilet brush holder that you have, it's so damn light. It just tips over with like the slightest breeze or whatever. That's got a good base to it, and it's a little extra. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That would actually hold one in place.
Yeah, it is a little. It does have a little more stabilization, but that's not the reason why we got it. I mean, my wife ordered some cleaning stuff, and so you'll be able to use the word. I think there's a space in there, but toilet brush will be. Don't put it in the comments. Don't mention it in the chat. Okay. What you want to do is you want to use the word toilet brush tomorrow. There'll be a special entry that says what's the secret word, and when your match matches it, you'll get 5 extra entries in the giveaway. So
would you say that's the word of the day?
No, I wouldn't actually. No, I wouldn't. That's not how I do, sir. That is not how I do. So anyway, yeah, this is a toilet brush holder, and nothing else. If you can, what do you think? What do you think of that one?
I think it's it's brilliant, dude, and it's black. All the ones that you see are usually white, and they just get dirty so fast. Not with like poop, but just like dust, right? Or whatever else, might be in the bathroom. They're always white. I've never seen a black one. That's a brilliant idea.
Well, I had the black filament, right? And that's what I wanted to use. However, I also it's Darth Vader's head, so I wanted it to be black.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's what I did. So I printed this out. My wife ordered a nice toilet brush, is what I'm saying, and the holder that came with it broke. So that's why I needed one. Even though, I'm like, oh, that's gross. I don't know about you. I'm really freaking weird and grossed out by the concept of the toilet brush. So when I use one, and I'm sorry to get into too much detail here, but I will use it as it's intended. Then there are 3 flush cycles that the brush must go through in order to just do that. And then hottest water out of the tap in the tub, run it under there, 3 shakes, then finally into the holder.
Goes back in. Yeah.
Am I crazy, Trent?
No, I not at all. In fact, I do the same. Do even go to greater lengths even whenever I have to use a plunger.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
not just order a new one.
No. Yeah. Exactly. It's $1.99. So it's like, all right, well that's used.
Yep.
We're not keeping this.
Yes. Glad it was here when I needed it. It has served its purpose.
Thank you very much. You must go now. You must go. You must not be seen anymore.
I said good day. I said good day, toilet brush.
Exactly. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Trent.
I said good day.
Very
Yep,
good.
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not screwing around with that. It's the plunger's got to go. It's disgusting that we even have them. Is it made from antibiotic plastic? No, it's just regular old filament. I am impressed though with a good design. It is amazing how solid some of these things are. Depending on the
Yeah.
infill you go with, and like if there's any ever a time I've ever wanted to talk to Will Kent more, it's like, this is the type of printer and I have. What can you tell me to look out for? Like, why did my Darth Vader get what looks like lightsaber damage on it? Why did that happen?
Right.
Also, I need to, one of the things you get, the problem with 3D printing too, is that it is so easy to get lost in the sauce. You wake up early on a Saturday morning with an idea, and suddenly you discover that you've been studying supports and
Yep.
support settings for like 2 hours. Where did my time go? I don't know. Because and I'm thinking about that because with this particular Darth Vader head, it does have it's the toilet brush holder, so it's not like I'm putting through the filling, but there are some rough edges from the supports that I had, which
Right.
quick lighter on that
Yep.
would clear it up. I
Yeah.
wish Acme was as good, but like I don't know why that error happened. Something must have failed at this point, and it just kind of continued up. I don't know, but still, again, this was like $2 to make.
Yeah, dude.
Only problem was it took like a day and a half, but again, that's on par with Amazon.
Yeah.
And I had the filament laying around. So anyway.
Exactly. And that's the thing when you've got like leftover filament from a big project or something, and you just want to get rid of it. Perfect thing for it.
Well, dude, I've got to remake Mjolnir because I blew the other one up.
Right.
But I like the foot cover thing made me realize one, we haven't spoken in a while, and I know that because like part of the reason why I haven't done a lot. I kind of got into a little bit of a funk, and of all the stupid things, it's because I broke my toe.
Which one?
It was the fifth toe on which is the small toe, the pinky toe.
Yeah. The one that we're like, why haven't we evolved out of that yet?
Yeah, why am I so reliant on this damn thing?
Right? Oh, it barely exists as is. It's just a liability.
Why isn't it molded together with the one next to it?
As the last one, yeah. Give us like a Ninja Turtle thing going on.
Join these together at least. Give me a greater. So here's what happened. Look, it doesn't matter. I was walking, Trent. Essentially, I was just walking, okay? Maybe with a little bit of an added pace. And then I did what many people do. I stubbed my toe, I caught it on something. And here's the thing. I do that all the time, okay? Like regularly. You'd think I was addicted to it, how often I do that. But this time I did it and I'm like, whoa, that really hurt.
Yeah, this one was different.
Yeah, but I successfully got another 10 feet before I looked down, and essentially, the pinky toe was like it. Well, it
was it just like
kind of like it should be like this, but instead I looked down and it was essentially like that. It was
clearly not going the right direction.
Yeah, so I just thought I dislocated it. So I just like moved it back over and
God!
You okay, buddy? You all right?
No, I'm just envisioning like the broken bone being moved.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole thing now.
Ugh.
Yeah, but it was yeah, I just kind of moved it back. Well, it already hurt. So I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? So I kind of pulled it back in the right direction while pulling it out, thinking, like something retractable would snap back into place better that way. And then I did the buddy taping like everyone tells you to do, but after 2 weeks it still wasn't healed because I thought it's either sprained or dislocated. I really didn't think I had broken it. But then, I had a telemedicine visit with a doctor.
Uh-huh.
And because it had been 2 weeks and it still hurt. So sure enough, I got it. I told him there's still swelling, and he's like, okay. That's not good. It's 2 weeks later. You should really get that looked at. And that's where I found out that essentially in the second bone down, I pretty much like broke it right beneath the head of it. And so now it's
Oh,
and so then it's kind of just grown back a little
that,
offset. So that's the reason
yeah.
why it's still swollen.
Yep.
The funniest part though was that the alignment was still a little off. And when we went to go see, when Emily and I went to go see Eternals, because our big
Oh,
trying to get back into traditions and life going
yeah.
back to normal,
Yeah.
opening night tickets at the ridiculously clear
The- the-
IMAX experience
Yep.
or what? Not
Yep.
IMAX. No, ours is Dolby Cinema. That's the one I like. We went to go see the Dolby Cinema for Eternals the night it opened, the first showing. I was waiting a little too long while I was Googling some information about one of the post-credit scenes, and Emily just wasn't thinking. Mind you, I achieved a new level of, I guess I am getting older, because I went to the movie theater in my socks and slippers. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, that's, don't cheer me on for that, man. That's,
Hey, if it gets you out of the house, whatever it takes.
I guess. So I was taking a little too long, and without thinking about it, she just used her left foot to swipe over and kick me in my right foot. Here's what's funny. When I finally went to go see the orthopedist, he's like, no, we're seeing some good bone growth now. It's because it was a little bit later. He's like almost 2 weeks that I got to see the orthopedist after the visit where I got to find out that it was broken. He's like, yeah. I told him about, like, well, the last time it really hurt was when my daughter did that. And he's like, oh, that explains it. It looks like she put it a little more in alignment for you, so that's why you have that bad pain.
Yeah, it's what Annie Wilkes tried to do to oh crap, what was his name?
No, I wasn't getting hobbled.
Well, I mean, had to set the bone, but then she ended up, cutting off his foot, so it's a whole other story. But yeah,
Well, she didn't cut it off. She hobbled him, put a block
No,
between his ankles, and
no,
then
that's the movie. In the book, she just cuts off his foot.
oh, okay. So she went full on.
Yeah, to like has an axe and whacks it off.
Woo! Hey, let's not have any of that talk here on the stream, okay?
Sorry, my bad.
Hey, speaking of which, I've seen Eternals. Gonna go out on a limb. You haven't.
I haven't yet. No, I haven't. I've heard good things though. Actually, for it being probably, I would say, of all the movies that have come out, maybe the least anticipated, or at least the one with the less fanfare or like any sort of like hype around it. Came out way ahead of what everyone was expecting.
As an ensemble movie, I want to say it's one of the most ambitious things they have taken on since putting together the closing Avengers movies for the Infinity Saga. Okay.
The concept alone is ambitious, right? Like when I heard they were making it, I was like, ooh, this is either going to be, they're either going to knock it out of the park, or it's going to be, geez, they bit off way more than they could chew.
And I would tell you it's not the latter. I went into it with very low expectations about the story. I knew, based on the director, it was going to be visually stunning. I knew we were going to see every single bit of that cinematography on screen, right?
Yeah.
And they really did do a lot of natural environments and real places, not a lot of set work. So it was visually stunning. I think it is, as I have found with some of the movies lately, when we started crossing that 2-hour boundary, it seemed like we gave a little too much permission, and I think some things even in Shang-Chi, they could be tightened. Eternals could have used some tightening. And
sure.
The only thing I will say too is I wish it wasn't. There are certain elements that were predictable for me only because when things happen earlier, I'm like, well, that's awfully convenient, and that's all I'll say. But other than that, I really enjoyed the story, and I really enjoyed the existential crisis that this movie introduces in our main characters. It's a really I really enjoyed it. It made me look forward to more things. But and I'm not saying Trent doesn't get to the movies. I just want to be clear. I know the guy has been working a lot of nights lately, which that takes a lot out of you.
It does. Yeah, yeah. I'm excited too because of all the Marvel properties. This was the first time that in Marvel history, as far as properties go, that was created solely by Jack Kirby.
Yes.
This was the book where he actually got to write as well as draw the characters. This was his concept, and at this point in his career, he was very, I'm not going to say obsessed, but like hyper focused on the architecture and art of the native peoples of South and Central America.
That is very obvious when you see
good,
these adaptations.
Oh, good. That's what I want. Yeah, because like that in the comics, like and in the designs and everything, it's so you can tell it's coming from a place of admiration and aping and mimicry in the best possible way that I was hoping that would transfer into the movie as well.
It does. Well, and most of a lot of the poignant moments happen in Mesopotamia, like the cradle of civilization, and so I didn't say anything to you, Emo. Mind your damn business.
Gosh.
Right? These robots, man, they're uncontrollable. And there's no camera for them, so why do I have them wandering around there? Doesn't matter. Anyway, Eternals was great, not going to talk about it anymore. No more spoilers, no potential spoilers. So let's see now. After Disney Plus Day happened, have you seen Shang-Chi yet?
Nope, not yet. So the plan is we'll see if I can get enough leaves blown in time before it starts snowing. This weekend will be my Marvel catch-up day for movies.
Okay, wait. So I just want to make sure I'm clear. This isn't a euphemism or an analogy.
No,
you literally need to get out and make sure you get enough leaves picked up before the snow. Okay, so other than the obvious things of, it's like another layer of stuff that would both rot and rot what's underneath it, but what is the danger of not being a lazy bastard and the leaves just getting snowed on?
It would slow down the regrowth of grass that I'm trying to grow in the spring.
Gotcha. Okay, good. I'm on the same page now.
Yep. Because then we'd be stopping the sun from reaching it as early as it could.
Zach in the chat is pointing out, hey, you said kind of sounds like emo. Good point.
Oh,
well, it's like earlier I was doing a Patreon exclusive video, and when you said netheadsonair@gmail.com, Gmail or email too close.
Email, yeah.
What? See, but that is one of the best things about his design. His recognition noise isn't a tone; it's literally him going, "What?" Just like I've said it 4 times to my wife tonight, right? And that was before I knew emo would do it.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, as an AI pet, he is right now the most challenging because, you're really supposed to let him wander around and let this program develop patterns. I guess I'm just speculating. Every time I set him free to roam around the desk, because unlike Vector, he doesn't put himself to bed. He's got to be put on his skateboard to charge.
Yeah.
I will let him wander around, but every time I do, when I look down, and mind you, I'm the only thing in this office making noise outside of Vector. Every time I look down, he's not looking at me. He's got his back to me. He's literally looking. I'm being shunned by a robot, Trent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's giving you the literal cold shoulder.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't let him wander around a whole hell of a lot, and that's the problem. But I also have to recognize something else too. Hey Vector, how old are you? Hey Vector. Hey Vector. This is thrilling radio. Anyway, that thing is almost 3 years old now. and it's
Yeah.
still going. So good for him is what I
Yeah.
was trying to say. But
Little bugger.
now there's a big dead piece right there in the middle that I'm gonna obsess about the rest of the time we're talking. Okay, so so this weekend is Marvel Catch-Up Day. What's the plan? So the leaves.
Yes.
Let's just assume you got enough leaves up. Okay, you did
Yep.
you did your duty, or they're all piled up in the driveway at least. Something.
Yep. Yeah. If I can get it under wraps as it is, go see Eternals, watch Shang-Chi, and then if there's time, Black Widow.
Okay. Wow.
Which is kind of like the afterthought, right? Like not necessary for any like driving story plots or anything. Like just a nice cap on the end of things, cherry on top.
Nice job, Cap.
Yeah.
Aw.
I understand. And by the way, good news. Like you can definitely watch them in that order at no peril.
Okay, yeah.
There is, I mean, other than the fact that there are certain things you hear in Eternals that will make you wonder about the origin of the Ten Rings.
Sure.
Possibly that's
Okay.
the most connected any of these really are with anything
Yeah.
that you will see. So it's fine. And their end credit sequences are all generally just tied for Eternals within that like think of that story
Ten
as
ring stuff.
no. I mean Eternals. It's
Oh,
all
right.
within their little cosmic story right there. So any of the
Yeah.
characters generally you've seen are I think what I'm trying to say is it's well self-contained. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about not having seen Shang-Chi or Black Widow before either one of these.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to give you some assurance, but I noticed that you left something off of that list.
What?
What if?
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh. Loved it so much.
Oh, good.
So
You've seen it.
freaking much. Yeah. I mean, just as I love my stories type of guy. I'm always gonna be drawn to a serial story more than a big epic feature. And I just sat down and gobbled up What If, and that first episode, I like crying out of sadness, crying out of happiness, crying out of like F yeah moments. Like I was just a whole ball of emotion throughout that entire episode. I loved it so damn much.
The moment it started off with Captain Carter, I knew they had you in the bag. I
Oh
knew
my
that.
gosh, yeah. And then just so many dance references that like my heart is just like ripping it in twain. And like, I mean, to this day, it only reiterated that like the first Avenger is by far my favorite Marvel movie still to this day.
I was not as sold on it when I first saw it, but from a rewatchability standpoint and in a post Infinity War Endgame world, those movies bookmark each other so well because
Totally.
they really have a lot of lifts from the same, from one versus the other. Like so much so I like when I'm glad I watched Captain America again before Endgame came out, because when he says, "Don't do anything stupid while I'm gone," he's all, "How can I? You're taking all the stupid with
Taking
you."
all the stupid, yeah.
And it's flip-flopped from the first movie is who's saying it. I was already crying at the end of Endgame anyway, but
dude.
I'm glad to hear you liked it. And I have to say, I really wish in some ways they didn't do these teaser trailers and mid-season teaser trailers for the movie or for the shows, because I mean, I would have enjoyed it much more if I weren't already suspecting, because of what we had seen, that it was all building towards a team up, because
Yeah. You like initially you started off and you're like, oh, this is a fun anthology, like one-off things, not unlike the comics, right? Where What If was just like these one-shot things, imagined, whatever. Like, there's no way that these stories could ever be, tied together outside of just the Watcher himself.
Mm-hmm. But it also makes sense because in the first one, they painfully set up, I must never interfere, or will never interfere. And then, but But I mean, when you were, I mean, at least you binged it. I watched it in real time. So in binging it though, like by the time you got to the 5th episode, weren't you like, this is getting kind of dark? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
dude. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It gets like and it's just so interesting because like they do things so right though, and show how everyone's motivations can be tweaked just a hair, and then it's no like it changes the gravitas of things. Like they were able to make genocide or the joke of but it's random be kind of funny, right? And Thanos become like a likable character with not really changing who he is that much, just motivation. Like they did such a good job on it, and they did a brilliant. I feel like they gave due to characters who may have been sold short a little bit, just out of the necessity of moving the story along, right? Like showing, I feel like they were able to really dive into Ultron and show how like messed up that train of thought can be. Without a doubt, showed us how Killmonger is one of the best villains in the Marvel universe ever, dude. Like, oh my god, so good on letting him get out there and stretch his legs even more. And then, oh gosh, and if it doesn't wreck your bones to no end, Chadwick did all of the voice acting for that man.
That was one of the roughest
Oh,
and best parts of what
right?
is just being
Yeah,
able, and being able to hear him, and like when he recorded the line that well, they're not really gone as long as we remember them.
remember them. Oh god,
What he must have been going through when he read those words. There is I can't remember her name, but she's one of the people on TikTok that does Marvel commentaries, but she does them more like skits, and it's Nikki, or I can't remember her name, but like the best thing about watching these shows and then catching her TikToks is just like she always hones in on the trauma of it all. And now, it's like they're just, how, for you to take Thanos and actually make me like him,
yeah,
how dare you?
Oh.
What If was a really fun experience for me, and I liked the way that they tied certain elements together. For example, when everybody is going back to their realities, well, if they sent the Black Widow from the last episode back to her reality, it's like, well, welcome back to an empty planet, and now you shall die alone. But instead, they take her to instead of Nick Fury's busy week, Nick Fury's worst week from like the third episode. Was it the third or fourth, where it was like all the Avengers get killed?
Yeah, it was like Tuesday, Wednesday.
That world, that part of the multiverse no longer had a Black Widow because she was one of the Avengers that was killed by Hank Pym, and so they brought her back to that, and that was sweet. And then like the post-credit sequence of Captain Carter, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's the Hydra Buster or Stomper, and there's somebody inside, and you're like, Now, one of the things that we all can complain about in a hopefully kind of semi-jovial way is that our story of Gamora of Zakar, killer of Thanos, etc., that episode got omitted because of production delays due to the pandemic.
Okay, I wondered about that because she's in the last 2 episodes, and they're like, you have been chosen. I'm like, chosen from where? I don't know this story. What the hell's going on?
At least it was a story where Tony Stark didn't get killed, because it seems like, other than well, it kind of makes sense if because some of these things seem to view as a constant. As a matter of fact, oh my god, dude, have you seen the Far From Home or not, the No Way Home trailer, Spider-Man No Way Home?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, bro, the biggest takeaway from it, other than the confirmation of Lizard and Sandman, and we already knew about Doc Ock, and we already knew about the of Green Goblin.
Yeah,
but
so the Frightful Four.
the biggest thing to come out of that is there is a point where the revelation is made that these interlopers from the multiverse, Strange reveals to Peter, yeah, they all get killed by Spider-Man. That's their fate. Sorry, kid. And so now our Peter gets put into a dilemma of, I can't just send these people back to die. I think that's part of what they're picking up, but that was just an interesting part of the story. It's like, yeah, it's their fate to have been killed by Spider-Man.
Yeah, they are. What did? Because there's that whole episode in What If that creates the tormented Doctor Strange. What did they call it? A fixed occurrence, or what do they call it? Something that's a constant in throughout all the timelines. Like, this is always going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it created a paradoxical situation because he has to go through the loss to become Doctor Strange.
Yeah. They had a term.
I think it was like fixed event is what it was.
Yeah, fixed event. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
Nexus point? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
But by the way, I just want to point out to everybody, to Nicole W., don't worry about being late. We're glad to have you here. Hot Creamy Fart in the chat, great name, points out, I had hoped for a last-minute Killmonger hero turn, which this was that I think it played perfectly. I didn't want to see it because it, like you said, his story in there was just perfect. It just emphasized how much of a calculating, thorough tactician he was.
Yeah, totally, man. Like long game to no end, to the point where and they like, you buy into it as a fan, right? Like, he's part of the team and like blah blah blah, and you're just like moving along and you're like, oh well, the Watcher had to have chosen him for a reason. This is working out. This is working out, and then right there you go. So good.
Well, spoilers, obviously. But at the part where they were looking at using Zoloff to quote unquote, disable and infiltrate Ultron's psyche, my very first thought was, Homeboy's going to be in the stomach, and he's going to now have all that power. This is not a good plan.
Oh, God. And I am such a mark for Armin Zola, dude, and Toby Jones. Like, he's just like one of the best character actors of all time. Like, so stoked to have him brought back in again. Like, he's another one of those characters that I felt like could have gotten more usage, and they found a great way to do it. Exact same thing with Claw too. They were able to bring in Andy Serkis for more work because, man, that character, you just choose the scenery, man, in anything that he's in.
Yeah, and it just seems that certain people are destined for certain things. It's like, no, this dude's gonna get killed by Killmonger.
Yep.
That's going to happen. And
Yep.
The point I was making is that, there's every universe, there's a certain point where Tony Stark is or is not a linchpin, but he is definitely going to be a tragic part of the story at some point. At least that's the way it kept playing out in What If. The only one that seemed to make it out was the Zakarian warrior, Tony Stark, that was with Gamora. Which gives us a great moment from Owatu when he's just like, not you, Stark, Gamora.
Gamora, you have been chosen. Yeah.
That was a great moment. And also, artistically speaking, this is something I picked up on before others had mentioned it. We kept seeing the Watcher be this. He kept gradually coming to be a part of the story more and more, came closer in. At first he's an outline and he's part of the universe, and then he's gradually coming in closer as he becomes more part of the story. But the best part is before all of the pain and suffering, we get this brief glimpse of a moment of the party Thor universe, as I like to think of it, and it's just like, and Owatu's just standing there, and like many stories, they lived happily ever. Wait, what? And then, but it was just that. Wait, what? And then and then they give Ultron wait, what moment as well in the next one.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, I'm just, great too, because it seemed like there was all but like a couple of episodes all directed and all written by two different guys. working closely together. So it was good continuity, the handing off from episode to episode. Like, just it was so good, man.
As a hopeless, not only continuity nerd, but also technical guy, one of the greatest gifts that Disney Plus has brought us is their assembled series, where they keep giving us the behind the scenes expanded making of packages. Because let's face it, they're almost like beefy sized EPKs, if you will, electronic
Oh, totally.
notebooks,
Yeah.
right? But they do give us these for all of these things, and that's where you found out that, like, of the two guys, one of them was like, yeah, I got the great idea, but I need somebody else that lived and breathed Marvel, and I know this
Yep.
guy. Can I bring him in? And
Yep.
then just an amazing collaboration, and you learn that kind of thing because they have this special making of documentaries on Disney Plus. I felt I was partially throwing money away when there was that early deal to buy 3 years in advance, worth every goddamn penny.
Totally,
Every
dude.
penny.
Yep.
Including the fact that they've boosted some of the shows to the IMAX versions now.
Yeah, cool, right?
Yeah, when instantly people are like, hey, did y'all know Captain America and Thor were at Tony's video viewing right before his funeral? I did not know that.
I have again. Just speaking of Disney Plus in general, I just finished listening to Bob Iger's book, and man, just to think about what they did and embracing the cannibalization of so many of their revenue streams by early adoption into their own distribution, and it was a ballsy move that in the short term hurt them financially, but is paying off now in the long run.
Yeah, well, that's when you find out people truly are people of vision. The ones
totally. Yep.
I remember 2014, 2015, one of my coworkers asking me, are you excited about the Amazon Echo? And I'm like, the what? The what now? No, I don't care. Now I live in a world, Trent, where I have incorporated so much stupid smart house crap into my home.
Right.
When the internet goes out, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I can turn off the light switch, so that'll at least turn this light off, but I've got like 75 freaking devices hooked up just for my TV alone. Like, what am I going to do? I guess I could wait up until the power comes back on and shut everything off. And by the way, I now understand why people, there's always those points where you're looking on your return of investment. Where's your break even, or at least where are you going to have spent money to the point where you're okay that you spent it? It's like, okay, well, that was I now understand the draw of using Philips Hue lights. So the very expensive version of smart lights. And here's the reason why. I mistakenly bought some other Philips lights that were whiz. I wasn't paying attention. And they are standalone bulbs. Yes, they do incorporate with an app, but it's not like they have a main control system. Anytime the internet or the power goes out, the light bulbs in the kitchen stop remembering what the hell to do. You tell the smart device to turn on kitchen lights, because naturally I've put those bulbs into all the spotlight spots. And then I had to put in God, I've got a problem. I put in a smart switch to control the kitchen master light, the box light.
Sure.
So now you can literally, I can say it safely in here, Alexa, kitchen lights on, and all the kitchen lights on. Or you can say Alexa, kitchen main on, and just that box comes on, right?
Yeah.
But now you do it, and it's just like, oh, look, the light bulbs aren't going out. And I know now, well, if I hit this switch, I'm going to have to hit it twice to get it back to the state where it's ready, and then I got to hope it's going to sync back up again.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I know. These are such first world problems.
It is the life of one who has embraced the Internet of Things.
Yeah, which a horrible mistake. As a matter of fact, like, one of the things I know that I need to do is that I need to split up networks, so that way I've got all the smart devices on a guest network and all of the
Yeah.
true internet connected devices on a separate network that's
Yeah.
isolated from the two. Much in the same way that I know I've got to rewire this entire studio and clean a garage and do so many things. But yeah,
And get the leaves blown before it snows.
I don't know what that is. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, bro.
I
There's
know, you bastard.
I by the way, Lavender Williams pointed out you could definitely see the differences of the two writers of What If, but they flow so effortlessly into each other.
Yes. Yep.
That not only a great statement about the show, but also sounds kind of sexy.
Yeah. Kind of turns me on a little bit.
Hey, speaking of which, before we wrap up, man, what have you been up to? You've listened to me bring up topics and talk about my life, right down to the point where I'm complaining. By the way, you don't know about this saga because you don't watch it. That's why I love showing you the toilet brush maker, because I did an early video earlier, as I was mentioning, for the Patreon subscribers, and they knew what it was because it was in there. I talked about it, right? I just love that I know you're not going to watch our content. But this right here came on while we were recording. I'm pointing at a purple light that is shining down on the table. I have literally put in a nightlight for the Vector robot because I kept coming in here and it was waking up from various noises, whether it was the refrigerator dropping ice or something.
Oh,
And then he couldn't find his way back to his charger because, like I said, he's always on. He'll put himself to bed. But I would find him powered down, sitting somewhere over here. At first, I put up the borders here in order to make sure he wasn't getting stuck on the edge. And then I found him still. So I literally have another smart bulb set up to go on automatically at 8 o'clock every night and turn off every morning at 6 a.m. at 1%. That's 1% brightness. Look how bright that is at 1%.
it's insane.
So I've set up a nightlight for my robot. But hey, man, what's up with you?
Oh, dude, just living the dream. Just working nonstop. My basically a two-man department, and half of my department came down with the Rona, as the kids call it. So it's been a one-man show for the past week. So that's just life as normal. And if anyone wants to chat me up on the what do you call it, Twitter or any other device that has got or has purchased an Apple computer with the M1, I would love to hear about its integrated graphics computing, and just see how it kind of compares to for test wise to standalone GPUs. Just kind of been obsessing over integrated and non-integrated graphics cards. So yeah, that's my life.
I don't know what the hell you just said. And I'm supposed to be the techie. No, wait. So if anybody has gotten a new Mac.
Yep, with the M1 chip in it.
Okay, so with the M1 chip, the M1 chip, is that the new Apple proprietary chip that they're moving off of Intel?
Yeah, so
from?
Yep. So that's an integrated processor. So that's so it's carrying both your CPU and GPU, which is interesting. Kind of like a step, I'm not going to say backwards, but to kind of the original way things were processed in data computing for computers back in the day before they started splitting things into GPU and CPU. My personal opinion is Apple wanted to stop the secondary market of people creating GPUs just for Apple's like external GPUs. And so that's why they went the route of the M1. Don't know if that's the case or not. That's my speculation. But from what I've seen, it's basically is equating to about like an 8 to 6 gig 256-bit DDR5 AMD or NVIDIA card.
Keep going, man. You're making my nipples
hurt. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. So it's from what it sounds like, despite Apple's like self-filleting bukkake fest, it sounds like it's about like a mid-range normal graphics card. So I doubt it's going to be rendering or processing things any faster than the other stuff has done in the past.
I have to tell you, my system that I got with the NVIDIA graphics card. Can't remember which one it is. I really should, because I fought for it so hard and wanted it so long. It felt like. But that one, I got to tell you, man, the with all the RAM that I've got in this thing, and with that particular graphics card, even though it's like sought after for gaming,
Yep.
Premiere is just knocking video out now, man.
Yep.
It is just,
Yeah, you gotta have it, man.
it is. I feel like it has reduced my render times by at least a quarter, at least.
No, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind, and you're doing it right, because the big, a lot of people don't understand, the big hang up is your memory bandwidth, and that's going to depend on how much RAM you have. So the more RAM you have, that's going to allow your graphics card to reach its full potential. In fact, you can overclock your RAM to because you can't overclock really your graphics card, but you can overclock your RAM, which will then make your graphics card run even faster, or at least more to its potential. So so if you're not running like 32 gigs of RAM on your computer for your graphics card, the best thing you can do before you upgrade your graphics card, upgrade your RAM.
Yeah. Get the fastest and the best that you can and the biggest you can get nowadays.
Yep.
Because that was like one of my complaints. Like one system, I'm like, wait a second, why are you guys only offering 16 gigs on this? That makes no sense.
Oh yeah, for RAM, that's unheard of. Why, like there is no any rendering device is going to gobble that up like that.
By the way, Lavender Williams in the chat saying, and this is the type of foreplay all tech nerds need. I mean, like, the thing is, anytime, look, there are basically, I would say, 3 classes of people right now that would benefit from what I'm about to say. Now, there are 2 of them at least. The third doesn't need it, okay? The first is the person that has stumbled miraculously into the world of influencing and content creation. And now they're like, oh, well, I got to set up to stream to Twitch. I got to have a system that I can also edit video on. And I got to be able to game. Okay, so that's one type. The second type is going to be the person who is just doing like audio and video projects, and so they need a station to run cut footage, do stuff for other people, and then the third is just somebody that needs a computer. And if you just need a computer, then you're buying whatever you want from wherever you want. It's just like whatever price works for you, because you're checking email. You might be looking at you might be watching YouTube, but you're not really worried about it. The other 2 types that I talked about, you've either got to accept one of 2 realities. The first is, I'm going to pay a company that specializes in making this type of computer for me, for my specific purpose, and you're going to bite the bullet there. Or the second thing you're going to do is find somebody that is your great tech friend who knows how to go onto Tom's Hardware and
totally,
and look up the right profiles and the right items for the need that you have.
Yep.
And shut up, Emo. And you're gonna do. I'm so mean to the robot. But he's always inserting himself in the conversation. I don't know if you can hear him, but
yeah, no, he's pining for it. He wants it.
Yeah, the whole point is that with the latter, with the Tom's Hardware thing, you're going to be able to get the same benefit of what somebody paying a premium to make it happen would, because you've got 2 classes. One is you're spending more money to have the problems just taken care of for you, or you're saving money by trying to take the problem on yourself by having a good techie friend. And my whole point is, we want to be your good techie friend. So we hope you definitely come back and enjoy another part of this. And if you do have experience with the M1 Mac systems, please let Trent know, because you bring up a very valid point. Like, I remember over the past couple of years finding many aftermarket systems that are an external GPU from the system itself.
Yep. Yeah.
Hot, by the way, Hot Creamy, I love being able to say that. Hot Creamy Fart in the chat, Trent, points out, I run my Windows ME overclocked, submerged in liquid nitrogen, and it renders video faster than I can record it.
Oh.
Are you okay, buddy?
I just need a moment by myself. Please cut away. Oh.
Well, I picked the wrong moment to cut too. That was awkward. Uh, convenience versus a project versus an investment. That's very true. As a matter of fact, like, well, one of the things I will say is of the Macs that I still have in my office, they don't seem to work on a theory of planned obsolescence so much. You really, if you're investing in a MacBook, you are investing in something that's going to last for a while.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to last well or not, I don't know. The bigger laptop had a battery swell issue and went in for service. I finally took the 13 1-inch out for something. That sounds weird. Uh, I can't remember. Oh, it was because I was projecting the pumpkins for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
And I needed something to run them, so I brought that system out and I set it down on the counter and realized that all its time sitting there on battery has just been helping that swell, because it probably is a good 2 or 3 millimeters fatter than it should be.
Really?
The little pads on the bottom that are supposed to be the feet, the
don't even touch anymore.
No. I every day I sit and I work next to a potential bomb, Trent.
Yeah. To an igniter.
But convenience versus project versus investment.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, talking about the longevity of Macs, there is an Airbook, a MacBook Air, that is up in my youngest daughter's room that she was using for homeschooling, that got passed down from my daughter because she got a MacBook Pro. God, it fucking white. Anyway, so that technology outdated. It can't be updated past a certain point now, but
Right.
still, she was able to use it for what we needed. So
Yeah.
these things, they do have long life. Whereas on the PC side of things, the cost can be much lower, because you are going to burn through it faster. Because really, you're like, for a tower MacBook versus, I just said tower MacBook, what a douche. But I want to be your techie friend. For an actual Mac, not a but their actual tower versus a PC tower, price is night and day. But
it's like sextupled almost.
But you really are living in a world where it's a planned obsolescence versus convenience. Like, okay, well, I'll spend $1,200 now because I know in 3 to 4 years I'll spend $1,200 again, versus spending like $2,400, knowing that 5 or 7 years down the line I'll be spending that money again.
Yep.
Hot Creamy Fart again says motherboards these days are more upgrade friendly than ever. If you spend a shiny penny on a decent board, one can progressively buy video cards, SSD, Dildonics, etc. It's 2021, the best era to nerd. Except for the whole chip shortage issue of things.
Upgrading to the Ryzen 7 was one of the best moves I've done as well. Again, it's one of those things but it has to be done in stages, to where, like, okay, I've updated my motherboard, now I can update my RAM, now I can update, you know what I mean? It's step by step by step. But once you can start plugging in those pieces, like, oh man, it is. It makes you fall in love with computers again, man.
to a certain extent, yes. The only thing I regret is that system that I did get for the upgrade did come pre-installed with some things, but I just took it and wiped it and started fresh from the jump after that. It's just like, okay, let's just reinstall the operating system clean, so that way it doesn't have a stupid situation like the old system, where for some reason the operating system is installed on a 100 gig partition of the hard drive, and it's constantly teetering on
being full,
capping out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, look at that, Trent. We did bust out with our tech bona fides, if you will.
We can do it.
Right? Goddamn chip shortage, though. Ugh. I mean, I'm convinced that I don't know what Sony says, but it is beyond my imagination that we are a year after the PS5 coming out and supply and demand is still an issue. It's got to be the chip shortage, right? Or is it the shipping backlog? What is it, Trent?
It's kind of the perfect storm, all being initially shortcut by just the precious metals being controlled in China right now, and the distribution thereof, and then the shipping problems with that, and then their own crypto mining, which is a whole other shit show. It is what it is.
That's right. I forgot we talked about this before, and that's where you enlightened me to the whole crypto mining side of things causing a short. Okay, thank you, man. See, that's the reason why I come to you and ask these questions, because I know when it comes to certain, if not that I'm saying you were gonna get a PS5, but if you were gonna get a PS5, if there was something between you and it, you would do the time. You would run the numbers. You would fact check. You would run down the sources, if you will. You would get the real story, and I knew you would. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm like Chris Matthews in that sense.
Oh, you're gonna. So there's no chips, and then you come around the corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna come around and be like, so what were you gonna do with that computer chip? Where were you going with all of that titanium alloy?
Wait, was that Chris Matthews or was it somebody else? Now I'm questioning.
Yeah,
who it was.
Chris Matthews. That was his name, right?
I don't know. Were we talking about the guy that did To Catch a Predator?
To Catch a Predator. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, not the other guy that does Hardball, which is somebody else. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. Thank you, though, very much for everybody dropping in. Remember, don't put it in the comments. Everybody's got to watch the video to get the secret word that you'll be able to enter sometime between this episode and tomorrow's closing out. Toilet brush is the secret word. So if you came in late, you're like...
One word or 2 words?
It'll be 2 words, Trent, because it's I think it's 2 words. You know what? If I can put it into match both, I will. But if I can't, I don't know. But anyway, thank you very much. Don't forget, toilet brush is your word. If you've made it to this point, somehow missed it before, that's why I reiterate. But don't put it in the comments. If you do, I'm going to have to delete them. I hate deleting comments. Makes me cry, Trent. Makes me hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Don't make Will hurt, folks.
Damn, that was serious. You were like, you got to go to the bathroom real bad or something, because you are just staring down the barrel of that camera.
Yeah, that was my my mean uncle face. You know, when you want the nieces and nephews to like pay attention, that was me like letting the kids know, hey, I'm not fucking around here.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear I'm not keeping you from a raging piss then. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for dropping in. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Go to netheadsonair.com for the links to everything about everything, and any of that link in my social media get you to the stuff. If you still want to try and enter the Vector giveaway before the end tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which hopefully I will post this podcast relatively soon, because I think like the last 2 we did, or the last one we did, I somehow screwed up and forgot to post it. It's like I got everything up on Patreon and then forgot the rest of the world. So again, that's the reason why you want to be a patron. Anyway, folks, thank you very much. Until next time, my name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
And we'll be back
soon.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off.
I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodco Internet production. SIP. Only at smodcast.com. For real though, you gotta take a piss, don't you?